Welcome, February 24th, 2025. This is our fourth filming of the Community Lens. Thank you for joining us. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Mr. Bill Savastano is here to join me, and we will be talking about many different things. I hope everybody had a great February. We're all ready for spring, I am sure. It's been frigid cold out. So here we go. Would you like to introduce yourself, Bill?
Yes, thank you, Kara. My name is Bill Savastano, and I've been in town with my wife, Dottie, for about 30 years now. And since I retired in 2010, I wanted to get more involved with the neighborhood and the town business. So after a couple of years of a honey-do list around the house and catching up on a few things, I started getting out to town meetings, volunteering for the POCO Fest and the Senior Center, and just got out there. And 8 years ago, talking with neighbors and other people that I met, I was asked because there was an opening on the recycle committee. And I've been on the recycle committee for 8 years now.
That's amazing. So we're going to talk about Earth Day tonight, correct?
Okay, we're going to start with Earth Day.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yes, Earth Day is coming up quick. We actually got a little surprise because we coordinate our Earth Day with Little League opening day, where we have a captured crowd because there's probably 200 people with parents and children that come out for a brief ceremony on the 5th of April. And then once that 15-minute ceremony is over, the announcer kind of announces that we're waiting for him outside of the fenced area. And we have our committee there with exhibits and just bring a lot of awareness to Earth Day. As you know, Earth Day is 22nd of April every year since 1970. But a lot of people celebrate a little different depending on what's going on. But in this case, we're a little bit early, but we'll be fine as long as the weather's good on the first week of April.
I hope we have good weather. That will be nice. Both Bill and I were at the town council meeting where there was a public hearing this past week talking about town properties going up for sale, talking about the budget and the upcoming budget season and referendum in May. I think it's really important that everybody gets out and votes for the budget referendum. That's one of the reasons I started this show. I want to see a 10% increase because every voice counts. And even if you're going to say yes, you should still go and vote and say yes. It shouldn't be that you don't go and because you're for it. You should go because you're for it because every vote counts. What do you think?
Yes, you're correct. And I was actually a little surprised because I have in my notes here that they're going to be sending out a postcard. But they actually had some discussion about it, and they decided to table it till the next meeting in March to decide whether they want to send out the postcard to 5,800 resident addresses in town. And like I said, I was a little surprised because that would be the best thing the council could do to make sure the word gets out. I found some information off the website, that's a town website, that had the last 20 years of the referendum. And believe it or not, there was only 1 year out of the 20 that there was an 11% turnout. So that meant they could send the budget back to the council to do some more cutting. And but the other thing that was interesting was that of the other 19, even though they didn't get the 10%, the majority of the votes were to send the budget back to the council.
So is there a certain percentage of vote that needs to come out in order for the
Ten
referendum to
percent
count?
of the electorate, which is, the electorate is about 9,600
Okay,
electors in town.
so about 960
Exactly.
people about?
Yes.
And I think I heard you say we've been at about 2% normal.
Yeah, it varies, a lot lower. And one word on that, and again, I'd like to see the postcard, but the council really does a good job. Looking over those figures, going back 6 or 8 years, even though it wasn't voted to go back to the budget, but the council was doing a good job, meaning, maybe 10, 11 years ago, the mill rate was about 30, a little bit more. Now we're only at 35. Yes, it's money, but in a good 12 years, it really hadn't moved that much. As long as I've been involved watching the budget, the hearings and such, there hasn't, except for last year, there wasn't anything more than one mil a year.
Right.
That was really exceptional.
And it
last
should
year.
be, is it true that it should be going down this year, even though the reevaluation came out? And you
Exactly.
might have received an evaluation like mine that was like 90%, but the mill rate, though, is supposed to
Yeah.
go down.
Well, there's a lot going to go into it. Now, you, from the last council meeting, you know that the assessor brought a lot of figures along with the new grand list to the meeting. And there's a formula to go by. And basically, the grand list went up a little over 40%. That's a lot of money. But it's the council's duty to actually, obviously, watch the budget, but to make sure that this, even though the revaluation is a lot this year as compared to years in the past, that they should do their due diligence to smooth out that budget, the mill rate, so it's very little impact. Now, you know by the last couple of years, I know my tax bill is going up about 10%. But that's only because we bonded a lot of money for the new high school and the police station. Now that, again, if the council does its job, the mill rate will go down. It's a question of how much, $8 or $10 or 10 points. But if it goes down a good 10 points, that'll show very little impact on your bill. You'll still be paying for the police station and the high school for a good another 12 years before it tapers off on the other end.
Interesting. And is there something else that you're looking to do for a credit for the elderly? Or
We did that actually, took a couple of years, but we got it done 2 years ago. Yes, once the elderly people figured they were going to bond all this money, we needed to get a tax relief ordinance update. And basically, anybody over 65 that's retired or senior / disabled can qualify as long as their income is at a level. Now we had to do 3 things. We had this ordinance, it was 20 years old, and you could only get a credit of $300.
Okay.
So we wanted to raise that, and I thought to raise it to $800 because basically my taxes were going to be at $800 for these next 10 or 12 years
Okay.
before it slacks off. But we got the 300 raised in 2 increments to $700. First year, 23 was 500, and then last July it went to 700. But we also got the thresholds for the income that were too low. So the income level for a single senior is at $50,000, and married or 2 people, it's at 60,000. So,
Okay. Well, that's all.
but what we're looking for, what I brought before the council was now a freeze, meaning people that are 75 and been in their home for 20 years or more, now will get a freeze. And that's, and this tax relief is in all towns around us and in various forms. So it's nothing new to our town, but it's a thing that should be watched every year at a budget season.
Okay, that's great. Definitely will watch out for that, especially if you're going to fall into that age bracket soon, or if you're already
Yes.
there and you don't know that you can be getting a credit, because I'm sure that,
Yeah.
are they supposed to give it to you automatically, or do you have to fill
No,
it?
you have to apply.
You have to apply. So if you haven't applied before and you do qualify, you can be getting a $700 tax credit.
Right?
So just a couple of things I want to mention. During the month of February, I was able to go to a legislative breakfast up at the state of Connecticut. And for the public good, I think it's important for you to know that there are going to be different types of legislation going on, especially in education, which is really important to our town, which is special education will have a new funding stream. And so they're collecting people's testimony and opinions about what you would like. So reaching out to our legislatures, Mr. Candelora and Ms. Cohen, and let them know what you think about those topics for funding for special education and for getting more special education personnel coming into the schools to service our students is really important. And the other thing that I learned while I was there that I think is important for the public good, and regardless of where you fall on, if you see the budgets as guardrails or as roadblocks, it's important to know that one of them is a bond lock. And with this bond lock, it's seen as it can't be changed by the legislature. You can't, if we wanted to take the bond lock away, we can't. There's no way for the electorate to take it away, and there's no way, even if we had majority votes in the legislature, to take it away. So that's something that struck me, and that's important for people to understand, because even if you see it as a guardrail or a roadblock, that's a little, makes me a little nervous that it's taken completely out of the people's hands to do anything about, even if we wanted to or if we didn't want to. So that's something that you may want to reach out and find and educate yourself on and find out more about. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is both Bill and I went to our second event yesterday for the Common Ground group that's been meeting in town. We talked about it. Mr. Petrovsky and I talked about it last time, and I believe that we talked a little bit about it in each episode. But there was the second event. It was held at the community church in Northford, and Pastor John hosted. It was a really great event. There was lots of people there, and I think we made some progress and had good conversation towards common ground. Do you want to add anything?
I was interested in Rory Burke, our assistant town manager, and some of the figures he brought in. And all the conversation was good. Something I didn't realize about the homeless, where you don't think of always a homeless person as no home at all or living out in the street somewhere. Some people, because of the economy or whatever, have had to give up their homes and are living with someone else, and those people are considered homeless. And
Yeah.
it was new to me, so.
Yeah, and there was some other good conversation around zoning, planning and zoning, and especially getting people to come out to the town meetings that we're
Yes.
referring to, because that's the bottom line for the Community Lens is every voice counts regardless of who you are, and if your voice counts, regardless if you're for it or against it, it counts. So if there's something coming up, especially planning and zoning, especially town council, you should come out or send an email. They read your emails into the record when there is a public hearing, and bottom line is every voice counts. So don't stay silent. If it's good, if it's bad, if it's ugly, have your voice heard because you're part of the community.
Something I could add to that too is your primary meetings, meaning the town council, planning and zoning, board of ed, and the IWWA, that's the inlands and wetlands. Those are all videotaped and shown live. So you can actually see it as it happens. And then, of course, within the next couple of days, it comes out on YouTube on demand. With,
yes, and here at the Totucket TV as
Yes.
well, yes. But I'm going to keep bringing you what we as residents think is important. Any local business out there, we have some new local businesses on tonight. We have a nice little voiceover for you from one local business. So Hurricane Energy joined us tonight. You'll see their logo after the show. If you are a local business, especially a local contractor or handyman, please reach out. We would love to have you on to come talk about your business or to send us a logo so we could advertise it. I hope everybody has a wonderful March, and we'll be back at the end of March, around the 23rd or so. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Oh, good.
Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm the owner of Get Organized with Megan Rose. I specialize in helping people create organized, stress-free homes through my services, which include decluttering and organizing, donation pickups, and daily chores such as laundry, dishes, and tidying up. I understand that inviting someone into your home can feel overwhelming, and many people feel hesitant or embarrassed. But I want you to know my services are 100% judgment-free. I'm here to help, not judge. In addition to my organizing work, I'm also the administrator for our town's free page, where I donate many of my clients' unwanted items to help others in the community. Giving back has been an important part of my business since the very beginning. I've lived in North Branford for 11 years with my boys, and I truly love being part of this community. Right now, I'm running a giveaway for 1 free hour of my decluttering service. Everyone who enters from town will receive $15 off their next session. Be sure to check out my Facebook page, Get Organized with Megan Rose, to learn more about my services. I hope to hear from you soon.